Attention! You are all to begin following Instruction M. All of the major objectives will be highlighted in your instruction envelopes. Also included is a decoder, which you will use for the following messages. Chat roulette is the biggest waste of time on the internet. If I wanted to watch a bunch of overweight middle-aged men masturbating, I'd host a Stickam chat room and invite Inventor Gorilla and his buddies to come fap to my live streaming video. You know, at first I thought it would be pretty easy to cope with my new abilities. It was finally everything I've ever wanted. All I had to do to kill a guy was just reach out and grab him. Killer touch. It's the coolest thing in the world. Before I got blocked from chat roulette, I did have some fun. There were a few things that I did just to sort of, a few experiments. One of them was going on, it really seemed like it was a long tirade, but it really wasn't. It was only about 2 minutes, and it was about how pointless and how much of a waste of time chat roulette was, and that I could just go on and on and on and on and on like this and see how fast it took people, or how long it took people to next me. I'm also going to use this as a means to sniff out who I think might be a spy. On average, it was immediate. Almost immediately, people were nexting me until I got to the point of the tirade, the end of it, where I talked about, you know, waiting to see how long it took for people to next me, and then they're like, "Oh, well, I shouldn't next you then." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, you can. I can't stop you." But every time I turn out the lights, all I see is a hideous monster without a soul. I also did a few things where, I know, me of all people, I did not show my face. Instead, I had drawings. Which, there's one right here. I had this one. It's not really a drawing, but you can't read that at all, I'll betcha. But it got gradually smaller and smaller, and I just wanted to see how close to the screen people would get to see if they could read it. But this one's my favorite one. This one right here was rather artistic, if you ask me. I thought it'd be a neat little suicide note. You know, I can't take chat roulette anymore, I'm going to go hang myself. Most people didn't get that. If there really are spies within my ranks working for Snowwalker 1, then give your leader a message for me. And although I haven't always looked like one, I've always been a freak. Now, thanks to a certain accident, I get to wear that freak on the outside. Another thing I did that many people didn't get was this one. I gotta stand back here so that you can read it, but you probably can't because it's not very close. A lot of people didn't realize that the 7-ball is somewhat less magic than the 8-ball. So when you ask the 7-ball questions, you get answers like, I don't know, or, wait, what? When I get my hands around his throat, when I watch the skin and flesh peel away from his skull, Two people of note that I want to mention. One probably won't see this video because we didn't get that far. Although I did mention that I make videos on YouTube, and I was going to do one about chat roulette, so you might see this one, I don't know. But you were the one with the mask on and the camera distortion, and I couldn't see your face very well. They told me that a lot of people got weirded. I don't even know if it was a guy or a girl, to be honest with you. But the masked person told me that a lot of people saw what they were doing and got weirded out by it, and nexted them almost immediately. I told them in my line of work, you see all kinds of things, and frankly, you're not the first person in a mask I've dealt with. You're not even the second. So even though I haven't always been a freak like you, I too know your pain. The years of being mocked and ridiculed for being different. But if we band together, we can bring about a new glowing dawn. And then the last night that I was on chat roulette before I got blocked, I ran into a robot. And they told me to ask the robot a question, and I did. I asked them, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? And they told me 265. And I was like, oh. Well, then what's the meaning of life? And I don't remember the answer verbatim, but it was like if you actually asked a robot that question, it'd be the kind of answer that they gave you, except it was kind of poetic. And I was like, wow, that's beautiful. What is that, Shel Silverstein? And they said, no, that's robot. I'm like, oh, okay. I also asked them about I asked the robot how many souls you get and when you get them. And they told me that there's no such thing as a soul. When you die, but your particles will continue to move on after you're dead. That robot was smarter than a lot of the people here on YouTube. Robot said his name was Parker. So if you're watching this, thanks for keeping me entertained there, Parker. That was pretty cool. When I watch his eyes boil out of his sockets, only then will I know that I've had my revenge. My final thoughts on chat roulette: it's a huge waste of time and you shouldn't go there. It's fucking pointless. And you are all working valiantly to make this happen. I'm very pleased with your efforts. Those of you who survive will be rewarded handsomely.